Let's start. Recording in progress, it says. And now we are just waiting for attendees to join. So I am so pleased to see that people are already coming in. So thank you, welcome. We are not only here on Zoom together, we are also on Facebook Live. And it is my great pleasure to be with you all tonight. What I would love is that as you join in, type in chat what business you are interested in this from. Are you in an IGC? Are you a grower? Are you a marketer? Are you a garden writer? Are you a speaker or some other form of communicator? I would love it if you type that in chat. And if you've never typed anything in chat before, you go down to the bottom or the side of your screen, depending on the device you are joining me on, and you click on the speech bubble that says chat, and then you type whatever you want, and you can address it to me, which says hosts and panelists, or you can address it to everyone. And I would love to know if you are here as a garden communicator, if you're here as a garden center employee, or some other aspect of the green industry. Let me know, because I want to be sure that what I am saying is applicable to you. All right. So do let me know at some point. We are also here on Facebook Live. I will not be answering questions in the comments on Facebook Live right now, because frankly, it's too hard to handle the Zoom, right? And speak and keep track of what's happening on Facebook Live. But if you do join me on Facebook Live and have a question, I am thrilled to come back and answer later, either tonight or tomorrow. So know that. Okay. Well, we're here tonight to talk about Zoom and how you can use this platform that we are using right now for your benefit. For the past 2 years, I have used Zoom both professionally as a garden communicator, as an author, and I have used it also for my independent garden center. I do educational programs for Hyannis Country Garden, which is a family-owned garden center here on Cape Cod. And so I am doing work for them with their account, and I am doing work for myself. What I'll just start out by telling you that I came to this Zoom platform because of my concern when COVID hit and the lockdown happened. That was in late March, right? And as a member, working employee of an independent garden center, I knew that if we had to be closed in April, May, and June, we would be out of business. You know, many people don't know that most garden centers have that spring period to make their profit for the year. And if they can't make it at that time, they are in trouble. So my initial thought when the lockdown happened was, how are we going to keep people engaged with plants and gardens throughout this pandemic? How are we going to address that and build the excitement despite the pandemic? And that's what brought me to Zoom. Amazingly, as a garden communicator, being able to present virtually has not only saved my business during the pandemic, but my business grew during the pandemic. And I see that virtual will always be a part of what I am doing. So let's get started with this presentation, because I am speaking to you not only about using Zoom and presenting virtually, but specifically about how you can use an enterprise account, whether you are a garden communicator or a green industry business, how you can use that to your financial benefit. When the lockdown happened in March, that coincided with the time that I was renewing my membership to the National Speakers Association. And they at that time offered their members an enterprise account. And as I say, that not only allowed me to keep my communication business going, it allowed me to grow it. And frankly, my income in 2020 in the lockdown time was greater than previously before. So here's the deal. Whether we are in a pandemic or not, and of course we're going to be living with the virus, as we move forward, we're finding out how to live with it. But virtual is here to stay. Whether there is a virus that we're concerned about or not, virtual presentations are here to stay. First of all, they allow people to stay connected across great distances. All right, so whether you are having a meeting with colleagues that are in several parts of the country, or whether you are speaking to customers and clients who are even 50, 60 miles away, the virtual connections allow you to stay connected. In terms of meetings, if you are presenting virtually, there are no room rentals. There's no setting up of chairs. People don't have to drive in bad weather. I am a member of an organization that often does not want to meet in January or February because people don't want to drive in bad weather or drive at night when it's very dark. This platform allows those groups to continue to meet. If you're in an independent garden center, you don't have to clear a space and set up chairs and then take the chairs away again. Businesses are not centrally located anymore. Now, this was happening before the pandemic, but the fact that Zoom and other virtual platforms really grew at that time has served businesses well. So I have spoken to many businesses in the past 2 years that their whole model is that they are not centrally located. They hire the best people for the job, whether they are located in Anchorage, Alaska, or Dallas, Texas, or Atlanta, Georgia. And in fact, their employees are in all of those places. But those employees, even though they are far flung, they want to gather together. They want to not only have business meetings, they want to have social opportunities and learning opportunities. So whether it's an evening chill presentation, a lunch and learn presentation, or just an employee bonding experience, those are happening virtually. Of course, virtual allows speakers to present worldwide. All right, I have spoken 3 times in the past year to groups in the UK. They would never have been able to afford to fly me over to speak to their groups. I've spoken to several groups in Canada in the past 2 years, not to mention, being able to speak to a group in the morning in California and a group in the afternoon in Ohio. It also allows speakers for businesses to present locally after hours. So I have frequently a Friday afternoon happy hour for my garden center. They can be closed. They don't have to keep the cashiers. They don't have to keep the manager late and hustle people out the gate because I'm doing it virtually. And yet we gather together with anywhere between 95 and 160 people on a Friday evening. Now, of course, when you have your cameras on and you're in a meeting mode as opposed to a webinar mode, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, it allows people to be face-to-face. It allows you to see people and talk. And that is a huge thing. And was something that we used to dream about, when I was a kid, and it was a television screen for phone calls was on the Jetsons. It seemed like, oh, this would never happen, television, for a phone. And yet here we have it face to face. And Virtual, if you are a speaker, if you do present in person and love that, virtual can complement and add to those gatherings. So if you crushed it in Cleveland, you can say to that audience, I'm going to be doing a virtual class in a month, blah, 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 on, and then you give them the details, and you pass around a sign-up sheet for people who are interested in doing that virtual class. And it could be that you are doing it as a free class. It could be that you are charging, but you automatically can build on what you have created in person, that desire of that audience to hear more from you. And I'm sure that many of you have spoken to audiences and people were very enthusiastic. They want to know where else you're going to be. They want to know what you have written and all of that. Capture that audience right away through a Zoom platform. And if you are a business, if you're looking for a new way to connect with busy customers, this is huge. You know, you have young customers who have children that they have to leave work and get their kids home and get their kids fed. You could connect with them at 7 o'clock, right? In the evening, they don't have to go out. They don't have to get a babysitter. So you can connect with your older clients that don't want to drive at night. You can connect with working people who are just a little too exhausted to leave the house again, whether they've got kids or not. And this is a way to be in touch with them and present them with information and inspiration that they need while, letting them live their lives. All right. So we're going to talk about the GardenComm Enterprise Zoom plan and what it all means. All right. An enterprise Zoom plan means that you get to conduct both meetings and webinars. All right. And there are advantages to both of those platforms. If you've been on Zoom before, you have almost always been on a meeting platform. Most clubs get a meeting platform. Businesses get a meeting platform. Meetings are fine in some situations, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. But there are many situations where a webinar platform, which is what we are on right now, is absolutely desirable. You can have up to 500 attendees on your meeting or your webinar. Fantastic. And this is the important part. Unlimited recordings in the cloud. So you can be recording these. You don't have to take up space on your computer. You will have a link. You can then either download that recording and put it up on YouTube or put it up anywhere you want, put it onto your website. You can point people to that link. You can make that recording either just viewable or downloadable, depending on what you want to do. So it gives you tremendous flexibility for holding recordings off of your computer and for doing that for, a long period of time. And you get the other fancy stuff too, like closed captioning. You can improve your appearance, get rid of those wrinkles. There is even, believe it or not, a way for you to put on a digital enhancing of your mustache, your eyebrows, or digital lipstick. I don't wear makeup, so I don't do the digital stuff because to me it looks fake on me because I don't wear makeup anyway. But if you normally wear makeup, you can do that digitally without having to put it all on. And you can broadcast on YouTube Live or Facebook Live. We are on Facebook Live right now on the GardenComm group website. So, this is huge for businesses because it not only allows you to broadcast live on social platforms, but then that recording stays there. Again, bringing more people in. Now, why would you want to have a plan that includes webinars, not just meetings? All right. Well, first of all, because the attendees are not seen or heard. And if you are putting something out to the public, this can be kind of important. There are many, many people who have horror stories of having a meeting that has been taken over by a trickster, a prankster, a exhibitionist, right? And, you know, it's a long time before people catch it. So that is, it's huge to be able to do it without that um, group of pictures. Not all meeting attendees know how to cut out their video or their audio. And so you will get on a meeting platform, dogs barking and phones ringing and people talking because they don't know how, you know, to do it, or they don't think to do it. A webinar, that's not the case. You have the presenter, you have the presentation like you all are seeing right now, right? People can ask questions in chat, so you can have communication with them, but you also then get a clean recording, right? Without other people's faces, which can be good for you. Because as I say, people forget to mute, you know, and you can get troublemakers on camera. And it has happened, all right? And even people who are absolutely conscientious often forget they're on camera. And so, you know, you may be distracted by people chewing, by people, picking up their cell phone and scrolling through, which is digital heckling, if you ask me. But if you are not in a meeting format, you don't see all of those people on the side, okay? This is a meeting webinar format that I did for my garden center. It was a house plant problem solver happy hour. You know, you see the presentation, you see me, and people are writing questions in chat. And all you have to do is warm up that chat a little bit by asking people, post in chat if you can hear me, or post in chat what plant you've killed recently, or post in chat the biggest problem you're having right now. And people will do that, and that warms up the conversation and gets things going. You also have an option of having your presentation, your PowerPoint, behind you in your face. That's what this picture is taken of. Now, I am here in my Zoom room. I don't use a virtual background for my Zoom room because I tend to be very expressive, right? I move around a lot. I use my hands. And if you have ever been on a Zoom presentation where someone is using a virtual background, you know parts of their body disappear when they do that. Hands disappear, halves of heads disappear, entire heads can disappear if you move too quickly with a virtual background. So I don't use a virtual background, but if you want to, you can have your presentation be your virtual background. Just don't move very much. Now I know it looks like I am in my Zoom room here with a brick wall behind me. This is a tarp. Look at this. This is my guest room. This is my guest room. I have a tarp behind me so that I can be as expressive as I want, right? But nobody has to see if there is an unmade bed or even my guest luggage behind me. Now, you could create an entire course on Zoom, because if you have a webinar, you know, and you go into it and do your presentation and record it, you then have that link to that presentation that you can sell as a course. You can do several of them. And in fact, you can record them, watch them and see if you're satisfied. If you're not satisfied, redo it, right? Put it up. Once you get your course, you're satisfied with it, then you can launch it as a course and have people pay for that course online. And you have control over all of your recordings, whether you are speaking to your customers in a garden center, whether you're speaking to an audience, whatever, you have control over those recordings. And when I speak to groups virtually on their meeting format, I do not allow them to record my performances, all right? I might record some of my talks to other groups, partly because I might want to use portions of those talks to promote my presentations, or I might give someone who is interested in learning more about hiring me, I might give them access to that link to just watch but not download. But if you tell somebody that they can record your presentation, you do not have control over that, all right? And number one, we all know that sometimes we're not at the top of our game, right? We might love to be at the top of our game for every single talk, but maybe sometime you're not. Maybe you're getting over a cold and you're coughing a little too much, or maybe you're exhausted and have a couple of brain freezes, or senior moments, and you don't, you're just not at your best. Do you really want that recording to be out in the world? No, of course you don't. So having a plan where you can control your recordings is perfect. Now you can record a sample presentation. You can record the most frequently asked questions that your company gets, and you post that on YouTube. So for example, I posted at the beginning of the pandemic a little sample of what I'm about as a speaker. And I put that on my YouTube channel, and then that is not only on my website, on my speaker page, but if somebody reaches out to me and asks about my presentation, I have a link that I can say, you want to, see a little bit more about what I'm about as a speaker, go to this link. So you can record that on your webinar plan and put it up onto YouTube or on your social media or a link on your blog. And that, is a way to promote yourself using the equipment you already have, your computer and a Zoom plan. And then there are meeting formats. Meeting formats are important once in a while, okay? First of all, they're important for creating a group experience. Many businesses, they want a meeting format so they can have a group experience. Many garden clubs want a meeting format so they can have that group experience. And other associations, etc., might want that as well. So a meeting plan is a good thing to have. I did this, this is a presentation that I gave to a business who wanted a group plant experience. They were a tech company. They were not plant people, but we had a group experience where they were planting things up. I gave them a little plant presentation ahead of time. Everybody was happy, and they were really a fun group to be with. So if you are offering such things, you put that language on your website. Virtual group experiences for businesses, virtual group experiences for gardeners in your region. Now, whether you are a grower or an landscaper or what, you can offer these group experiences for the people that you want to reach. You can do them for alumni associations, fellow garden geeks, special occasions, lunch and learn. Many businesses have lunch and learn opportunities. Work-life balance, that is a big concern for people these days. Realtors, your local groups. If you are a local business, you can provide experiences, whether they are a webinar experience or a meeting experience, for other local groups. Your local Rotary, for example, would be a good one. Book groups, all right? You can offer a client thank you package for investment companies. And I have had several investment companies hire me to do this. I do a talk for them, all right? And then they buy one of my books for each one of their clients that comes to that talk. I provide them handouts. I might give them a recipe for a beverage so that everybody can make the same beverage and be experiencing the same flavors at the same time. Maybe you might want to provide them with a project and they all get the project materials in advance. All of that is possible here. You can create a community of your followers. You can build community. You can build your fans this way. So if you have a book that has come out, for example, create a community that people come to, a couple times a year, for example, and get together with you and you talk with them or you present a presentation to them. They might be free community building activities. You might put those on Facebook or YouTube Live at the same time to promote your book or your work, whatever it is, right? But that community experience is huge and people bond with you. I cannot tell you the number of people who have come up to me in the past year and a half thanking me for the happy hours that I have done for the Garden Center and how much pleasure it has brought them and how they felt connected to our garden center, to plants and gardens as a result. You can offer a series of get-togethers, right? Maybe it's readers of garden books, or maybe you have a series of get-together of houseplant fanatics, or those who are crazy about hydrangeas, whatever it is, whatever you want to grow, whatever your area of expertise is, and whatever you want to build, you can offer get-togethers in that range. So for example, you could offer a Grow Ohio series, right? 6 classes, and that covers everything you need to know about growing plants in Ohio. You can charge for that, $20 per class or $100 for all 6. You have people sign up ahead of time. You can have them either pay you through whatever, Venmo or whatever thing you, Stripe or Square or whatever you accept. You can have them send you a check if they're very old school, or have them pay you on PayPal. And then you send them the links to what they have signed up for. So you can present a series to a wide variety of people. You might even offer a bonus class, right? Where if they sign up for all 6 of those classes, they get a free 7th class where they can submit to you in advance pictures of their gardens. Maybe the 6 classes are done on webinar format, but then that final class is done with everybody in a meeting format so that they can see each other, and you show pictures of everybody's gardens so that they can get not only suggestions, but applause. And people really want applause for what they have done. And they should have an assortment of opportunities to get that. You can, of course, promote books with a Zoom platform, record book trailers, right? Record interviews with people that have to do with your book. Put that on YouTube, put that on Facebook, wherever you want to use it. You can not only do a book launch video, you can do programs for book groups, speak to libraries and special interest organizations. And don't tell me that libraries don't pay speakers, because I can show you names of at least 10 libraries that have hired me in the past 2 years to speak to their people, right? Virtually. So libraries are all over this. And if you are an author and are willing to do a virtual presentation and have, something that you can engage audiences with, this not only promotes your book, but you can also ask for a speaker's fee. And you can create a Zoom event that promotes whatever work you do. All right. So let's say you're selling a trip or a guided walk or a workshop. Create a little Zoom event that shows people what they are going to see if they come to that presentation, or if they come with you on that trip to Italy, This is what you're going to see when you wake up in the morning. So having those visuals to tell people about what it is that they are going to sign up for is huge. If you do design or consulting work, all right, you can do a Zoom presentation about your work. You show them the before and after. Here's the house before I got a hold of it. There's the house after. This happens to be my house before and after, but in any case, this is a way that you can meet with potential clients without having to drive to their house, right? You can schedule a half an hour Zoom meeting. You can show them visuals before and after. You can have a little conversation with them, and it takes you half an hour instead of 2 hours or 3 hours because you have travel time. And believe it or not, birthday parties. Yes, I was hired to do a birthday party for a group of women who have gotten together since they were college roommates years ago. And one of the birthday gals was a gardener, and they hired me to present to her birthday situation virtually. So, there's all kinds of possibilities here. You can start a video podcast, which many people now are recording podcasts or video podcasts that go up on YouTube, and they're doing that through Zoom. And there are any number of places on the Zoom website that will talk to you, explain to you the ways that you can improve a podcast on Zoom. So all kinds of methods that you can use, but a great platform for interviewing people because you can see each other, right? And you can put it up on YouTube, and you can have the recording to put up in a normal podcast RSS feed. You can do happy hours that generate excitement. And this can be huge because people like to gather to have a good time. And I find that doing something during the cocktail hour is a wonderful thing because people are ready to just sit back, have a little entertainment, right? Little information, look at some eye candy photographs, and you will then have an audience that basically is with you for an hour infomercial about plants, gardens, or your book, or whatever it is you're promoting. So, and don't forget personal use, because this plan will also be wonderful for you for personal use. My husband and I were very pleased to facilitate an 80th birthday party for a dear friend. And because he is a longtime oceanographer, he has friends in all parts of the globe. They were able to join us from all parts of the globe, friends and family, tell stories about him on his 80th birthday. And not only did everyone have a really wonderful time, but we recorded it, of course, so that he could go back and review it later. So you can also, of course, use it for your company use. If you are part of a company, record your training sessions, right? Not everybody can make it to an employee training session. Have it available as a recording that they can watch. You can record onboarding information for new hires and have links to that they can watch before they come in for their first day. And then they've already got a little bit of information about your business. And you can build your mailing list, because when you have these Zoom accounts, you require people to register for your happy hours, your webinars, whatever it is, whether they are paying or not, they need to register. And at the end of the presentation, you get this from Zoom, all right? You get how, the whole thing of how many people registered, how many people actually showed up. So in this was my happy hour that I did in January. 181 people registered, 125 people showed up. These are all their names and their emails, all right? We've got that information. We know who was there and who didn't attend, who signed up and didn't attend. We know how long they stayed on the talk. All of that information you have. So huge, huge for building your webinar, your businesses and your mailing lists. And you can do 5 or 6 speaking gigs a week. For me as a speaker, this is what's really important. For me as a garden communicator, both for my garden center and for myself, I can be speaking to 5, 6 or more groups in a week, and I can still have lunch here. I can still walk the dog down here through my garden. I can still pick my vegetables at night for dinner. I can still sit out on this deck with my husband for cocktails. In other words, I can enjoy my own gardens and my own home, and that alone is priceless. For my garden center, we do community building. We do entertaining 1-hour commercials for plants, and we position ourselves as experts in this platform. We reach people through this platform, a Zoom platform that we otherwise would not reach. So let's talk about how much an enterprise level costs, all right? Because you might go on Zoom and you will see this. You have a personal meeting plan that you are limited to 40 minutes and there's no recordings, and that's free. And then you can buy something for $149. You have a very small amount of cloud recording space, right? This small business, it's not that you can buy one small business license for $199. You have to buy at least 10, meaning to have this small business license, you have to invest $2,000 a year. All right. And for an enterprise level that I am talking about, you cannot buy an enterprise level license for $240. You have to buy 50 licenses for $12,000. So don't be deceived in thinking that, oh, you can buy an enterprise level for $240. No, you have to buy 50 of them if you want enterprise level. That's what GardenComm has done. GardenComm has decided that this is a benefit for its members. All right. This is a very important benefit. And so they have purchased those 50 licenses and they sell them to their members for $350. Why for $350 instead of $249? Well, first of all, it helps support the organization, plain and simple. And secondly, the staff is doing the administering. They answer questions when somebody has a problem. They kind of run interference when somebody is unsure about something. And their time, it takes money. So that's why they are charging $350. Now, if you're not a member of GardenComm, you can buy an enterprise license for $600. Still a lot less expensive, still an amazing bargain, right? But frankly, I would say to you, if you are not a GardenComm member, membership is $145. A Zoom plan is $350 for members. Do the math, right? Better to just join, be a GardenComm member and get the Zoom plan as a member benefit because it's less expensive, all right? And I would say to you, how many events does it take to pay the $350? I mean, for me, that gets paid off in one event, one virtual talk that I give to somebody, paid, all right? What percent of your ad budget is $495? Any of you in business who buy radio time or anything else, $495 is nothing. And yet you could be using this plan for all kinds of advertising, from your content for your website to connection with your clients and customers to social media, right? So it's a deal. It is a deal. And right now, GardenComm has about 20 licenses still available, all right? If we sell those very quickly, is there an option to get more? Yes, but that comes first, and it depends on whether our staff is willing to then commit to more or not. Okay. People ask me, can I share an account with somebody else? Could I, with this other garden communicator or this other business, share an account? The answer is yes, but you can't schedule something at the same time. So if I was sharing an account with my garden gnome here or with Godzilla, right? I would have to be sure that I, told them that I wanted to do a program for this group on this day so that they didn't also commit to doing a program at the same time. Only one person can be, or one gnome can be on the account at a time, all right? And you have to trust whoever you're sharing that account with not to delete files or change settings, because once you get settings set up for your account, it makes everything easy. You can go in and schedule and know it's going to automatically be recorded. You're automatically going to have a practice session before you go live. You are automatically going to notify attendees the day before that they have registered. There are all kinds of great things that you can set up in the setting of Zoom that automatically help you out. If you're sharing the account, you have to be sure that somebody else doesn't change that. And you would want to share a group email, because all of that information comes from Zoom, and the logon to Zoom is with one email account. So just know that. All right. If you are interested in an account, you email Virginia at our office, info@gardencom.org. Sorry, gardencom.org. It's right there in front of me. And I'm going to take questions right now from you. So let's stop the share. Let us get us out of that. And all right, now I'm happy to answer your questions that you type in chat. That advanced Zoom chair where your presentation is behind you also knocks out animations, transitions from PowerPoint. That's right. If you have a virtual background, there are all kinds of things that you can't do. So it's not ideal to have a virtual background, frankly, I think. And I do a lot of these, right? That's why I got this, right? That has a blank thing. Okay. Discovered this last weekend, the simple share button, and you're in a box with your own background. The presentation comes through as you created it. I'm not sure exactly what that means, Mary Kate, but I trust you that, that there are, I don't use my presentation as my virtual background, mainly because if I go like this, then, my head goes away or whatever. Who has a question? I would love to answer any questions that you have right now in chat. Just type them in, and would be pleased. I would be very, very pleased to answer whatever questions you have. It is really, it has been a game changer, the Zoom Enterprise account for me, a total game changer. Because as I say, I can give several presentations in a week. And if you are interested in doing that, the key thing, once you get your account set up and you've spent time figuring it out, and by the way, the Zoom company has amazing information. Any question that you have, if you just type it into Google with Zoom, you will find a training information or an explanation on their website. So they have a lot of help. So that's number one. Number two, if you're a GardenComm member, you might consider making a power circle with other GardenComm members. And then you could help each other out with this sort of software. So that's another opportunity. Well, if we don't have any other questions typed in chat, then I will let you all get on with your evenings. And if you do have any questions that I can answer, please get in touch with me. As I say, you can always contact our office info@gardencom.org and get some more information there as well. And I so appreciate you all being here with me tonight. And I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I hope you stay in touch. Take care. Bye-bye.